have today with us Ashutosh Kapoor, who is the Managing Director for India and South Asia Softomotive. A pleasure to welcome him today for the Automation Diaries Wizards of Automation session. I can certainly assure you, with the kind of experience that Ashutosh brings, there's a whole lot that we can gain and learn from him by the end of this session. So welcome, Ashutosh. And congratulations. Microsoft has recently acquired Softomotive. That's big news. It's all over the place. And certainly during these trying times and challenging times, it's created a whole lot of ripple in the industry. Looks like exciting times are there for us in our change in आएंगे automation के लिए. So would you like to sort of throw some light on that and what's likely to come our way in the future?
Yeah, thanks, Uday. I must congratulate you on this novel initiative, especially in times when we are locked at home. This is the best way to interact with people out there. So great initiative, Uday, and it's always a good pleasure to talk to you. Yes, it's a great news, and Microsoft, being Microsoft, obviously it brings a lot of muscle, and we believe this is a great step forward. Not just as a recognition of Softomotive and its technologies, but it's also about automation per se as an industry which is seeing all the action happening, where every big player would be present very soon. And we in the industry can only be benefited with this coming through. Not just Microsoft, we see a lot of other actions happening all around us. So I believe this is the place to be. This is where you will see customers investing. The two great things that will happen here on would be about business continuity and business resilience. So while we are all locked in, it's not going to be the permanent thing. When it comes back, I see a much bigger comeback of automation.
This is very interesting. Ashutosh, you've got experience in the industry. You've been with UiPath prior to being with Softomotive, and you've drawn out the blueprint for the partner ecosystem while you were at UiPath. Today, a lot of OEM players are not directly going to clients and end user customers, but they're engaging partners, right, to be able to do the whole development, implementation, post-production related activity. I think there are a whole lot of partners today and clients today who are watching this session and who would like to know from you, what do you think should the partners be doing to ensure that all of the automation that they're embarking on for their clients end up as a big success? The business case realizes, and there is a huge amount of return on the investment. And just before I let you sort of get on, is what kind of partners should the clients be looking out for, or customers be looking out for? What should they watch out for in the partner to ensure that their projects eventually fructify and deliver the assets on either mission critical processes, low or medium complexity processes?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, I bring in some amount of experience with partnering in UiPath. I was lucky to be there doing this when automation industry was just about booming. So yes, partnering is important in India. India is not a direct sale country. There is no good or bad strategy. I personally believe partner first strategy is good strategy. There are companies which deploy the direct strategy also, and nothing wrong about it. It's just about deciding which is working best for you. Partners of all kinds exist in India. That's the important part. And India will be the center of automation world for two reasons. One, because this is where you have all the back end of the world, which is BPOs and GICs, which is global in-house centers and global CCs. So there is a whole lot of automation happening at the back end. There is a whole lot of enterprises which are coming of age in India. So clearly this is where the action is. The number of available technologists and automation engineers, automation implementing talent is one of the highest available here in an English speaking country. So this is a great mixture, and automation is bound to grow. Partners have the greatest possible role here because most product companies just sell the product, and that's only about 30% of the job. The rest of the cost of a customer is typically the implementation. Someone who hands-hold, who trains them, who takes the whole approach of where to optimize the cost, which processes to be identified, things like those. So this is where the partners and their skill sets comes in. Uh, Customers would be looking at typically those partners who have that skill sets. Now, I don't think size of how big the partner is or big brand that matters. Yes, that matters in large enterprise. If it's a project which has multiple processes, large scope, large delivery, then probably they will look for very big digital transformation partners like the Big Four or anybody else. But there are, you'll be surprised to know that there are automation specialist boutique partners across every city in India. And that's very unique India. And each of these guys, whether it's in Pune or Hyderabad or in Chennai, I mean, I can name multiple of them in each of these cities. I know them well, I've worked with them, and I'm amazed at the skills that they have. They have all the right skills to implement the project. It's just about ensuring that they get the right capital movement and attract the right talent to deploy, and then these guys can grow big. So I am just hoping, and I'm kind of reasonably confident that there will be such a spate of work coming on the way that there will be everybody having projects. Remember that every automation project that a small partner gets, he would deploy it, and that will take about 6 months, and all his employed staff would be deployed there. So unless he has the investment and the capital to keep employing more, use certain bench strength, he may not be able to have the appetite for large projects or multiple projects. That's where partners need to take their calls very correctly. So it's nothing wrong to be small. Just be smart about deploying your resources and ensure that you do the right projects. Don't oversell. Do the right project. Move on to the next. Acquire customers. This is the time to
So
acquire.
is that the Softomotive model to going to the
It
industry?
is
That
also a automotive model. As I said, you named UiPath, and I think UiPath also we did the same thing. We ensured that boutique partners. So remember that each of these boutique partners have their sweet spots. They would have their own enterprise customers or normal customers who they are hand in glove with and ensuring that everything goes well, right from ERP to a lot of other projects. They understand
you
that customer
continue
well.
to take the ownership of the realization of these projects, even as the
Correct.
as OEM player. While you may
Yeah,
recommend your partner, you continue to be accountable and responsible for the success.
absolutely. We ensure that these partners are well trained, well certified, and have the right skills. And uh, obviously, we are accountable because it's our product involved. But this is something that customers directly negotiate with these
Excellent.
partners and
Yeah.
ensure that they go with.
Yeah, this is brilliant, brilliant. So I think that's really encouraging news for a whole lot of people out there who want to embark on intelligent automation. Is, if you reach out to Softomotive today, they certainly are going to guide you. They are going to help you in your community or in your city with the right kind of partners who are then going to really help uh, drive the whole automation agenda in your organization. So even if you haven't embarked on, remember this is the right time. If you don't do it now, you're never going to do it. So please get on to automation, and that's the objective of these sessions, is to excite you and incite you, and to get into automation in a big way. My question
Absolutely.
here is, yes,
You said it right
Ashutosh.
that
Sorry, go on,
just so,
please, please.
I just wanted to add one point that if they don't embark, they would find that customers will ask for these things because they are there all over. Automation, intelligence, all of this is all over. You will find customers asking for it. So when the classic symbol for or classic signal for the time when you say the industry is ripe is when customers start asking about it, and that's where we are today.
Great. Thank you, Ashutosh. You've been in a number of boardrooms. You've been talking to a number of the C-suite of different organizations. So, a very blunt question to you: is RPA dead?
I can only laugh, but the fact is, if anything, RPA is growing so strong that there is a lack of number of certified people. There is always more, and we just don't know where the next big order and opportunity lies. We need a lot more talent. We need a lot more. The market is so huge that we are just not able to cover. if you pick up the threads of what's happening around in the industry, every second news is about something to do with automation industry or intelligence or OCR. Just in last 1 month, you see Fortress IQ, which is a process discovery company, has got some investments from Microsoft. You've got us and Microsoft news coming in, as in Softomotive and Microsoft. You have Hyper Science, which is one of the New York-based analysis, signature OCR and signature analysis kind of unstructured data automation company. They have raised something like 60 million. We have another Jiffy RPA from very much from our own town, India, Bangalore, raising another 18 million. Money is not short. People are investing. There is clearly a reason why they're investing. They're investing because they see this is where the future is. This is where it's growth. So anyone who thinks that RPA is dead is, I mean, I can only laugh. But then RPA, I would not like you to look at RPA per se as an RPA. Automation industry to me is RDA, RPA, OCR, things like computer vision. So there will be a lot of other parallel kind of technologies which will work. Customers will want to have an end-to-end rather than just looking at RPA automation. So there is a lot more action. You will see a lot of big players, maybe some consolidation happening, but this is where the action will be.
Customers today, while they believe RPA is a given. They really want the OEM players and the partners to talk more about emerging technologies. So do you really see enough use cases in that area? Any top 3 use cases or any such case studies that come to your mind, that you would like to share with all of us?
So one must remember that automation is mostly a horizontal. Okay, it's not vertical, which means it's not necessarily industry driven. You can have use cases by industry also, but when I say automate a financial process or reconciliation statement, okay, or when I say an HR onboarding process has to be automated. Now, every company is having these things. Most companies have a finance and accounting department. Most of them have an automation audit. They have an HR process. Typically, you will have someone trying to type it out from spreadsheets, put it onto an ERP, etc. All of that can be converted by a bot. If you are going to be repeatedly doing the same task, and this is horizontal, every company depends on whether you're a manufacturing or a finance or whatever else, you will definitely have these functions. So automation will exist. It is something that use case after use case have demonstrated. I can talk about many use cases over the last 2 years that I've seen. In fact, customers are the innovators. They find cases where to deploy. Anywhere where there is a repetitive task, automations can change it. And you're right that you say that technologies like OCR, etc., will form the ecosystem of automation. So typically you see unstructured data in forms of invoices, scanned, handwritten things. How do you capture data from there and convert it into a spreadsheet? That's the unstructured data which will be big for us. So you will see OCRs. The OCR is already quite stable nowadays. I mean, almost every BPO and GICs have an OCR requirement. You will see computer vision, which is reading from the screen and converting the unstructured data into structure. You can see handwriting analysis. You can see artificial intelligence of NLP variety, which is learning, language processing, reading the non-written stuff. So cognitive intelligence, as they call it nowadays. So whether it's hyper automation or cognitive RPA, a lot of terms floating in the industry. But bottom line is that RPA will form the base, and there will be so many other things that one can work on.
Let's just switch gears a little bit. A number of young professionals, business executives are watching this program who really sort of want to enhance their skills, right? It's not just about being an expert in your own domain, but it's also acquiring additional skills. I mean, when you talk about Microsoft Suite, I mean, it's a given that you have to come with those minimum skills when you take on an assignment or a job. So likewise, do you see the future, where young professionals will really need to be able to write algorithms or at least do a drag and drop on very user-friendly platforms? So what is your take on that? And really, do you need to be technically qualified, or can a business executive today who's already functioning in his role for 2 to 3 years, can he or she take on this mandate, of learning automation at this point of time in their career?
Great question, Uday, because an industry does not grow unless you have enough fresh talent coming in. And by talent, I don't mean the college education only. It is about people reskilling themselves as well. So there are multiple avenues for that. Remember that if I assume that, or I'm confident that the industry is growing, there will be so many more jobs that will be creating. This is an industry which will be job creating rather than cutting the jobs. As some people believe bots will take away jobs. It's not that, because you're enhancing jobs. There will be a lot more skills required. As a country, we have about what 63 million enterprises in India, out of which only about 19,500 are registered. About 1 million of them pay GST. Even if you look at just the basic, uh, 19,500 are the ones which have a paid up capital of greater than 10 crores. Now, look at the number of companies, and all of them will have necessarily basic finance and accounting and HR and basic processes. Forget about specialized processes, just basic processes. Now look at the scope of it. That's where we need the partners and our people to go out and educate that this is what you can do with it. The more companies deploy automation, the more need for skills. And therefore, it's important for whether it is a young business entrepreneur or it is a young educated new guy coming out of technology. This is a very soft motive kind of a product, is a very easy to use product. It's not a product that you will require a lot of skills to coding skills or something. It is something that you can learn on. It's a GUI centric product. Uh, Clearly, you can certify yourselves either on any of these good certificate programs available for all of these vendors. All of them have an academy program. For us, it is at academy.softomotive.com, which is a well video driven, good supportive test taken certification program.
Can
And
anybody
any
sort of
of
get into that, or does one have to?
anybody can, anybody can do it. You don't need a coding skill, etc. You will have lots of. I mean, obviously there are some content available there, forums available. You will have to learn. You must be slightly of the tech orientation. It just can't be novice, but you will learn with basic IQ. So I think that is one of the best investments you can do in these COVID times when you're stuck at home. Certify yourself, not necessarily on any one of them, but at least two of them. Any you pick up what, because these are all interchangeable skills. If you're certified on A or B or C, you can always interchange those skills. Demand is there for all of them. Pick up some kind of an OCR or AI skills, but that's all that I can say. That's the good starting point. If you are in a position where you can deploy those skills to build a bot and run an implementation if you are deployed in one of the big fours and you have an implementation opportunity, go ahead and do that, because this is going to stand you in good stead for the next few years.
Great, brilliant. This is really good advice. As Ashutosh mentioned, do take some time out and go to the site. My final question to you, Ashutosh. I've known you for many years now. You've been thinking always ahead of the time. What is going to be the future of automation in India and or globally?
India is by far going to be the center. That I clearly underline again and again. The reason being the kind of back office processes, the BPO, etc. Those are ripe cases of automation, and you will see a lot more GICs and BPOs and enterprises adopting it. All those 19,000 odd companies that I talked about, very little of them have gone through. This is all potential, half glass full, or as you say. There are a few things that I see automation trends, if you can call them. One of them is moving to the cloud. So currently, we don't have too many products on the cloud. We have all the companies typically on premise. I mean, they have cloud product, but customers are also mostly looking at on premise right now. But with the coming of post-COVID times, where people would be careful about where to invest, they will want to start small, invest small, see the ROI coming from the processes, and then go into things like cloud, investing on a cloud-based automation. That will clearly be a trend. The other trend will be customers will probably look for end-to-end automation. They are not looking at pure RTA or an RPA or something attended, unattended. They will be looking at an automation from end to end, which will be including of, as I said, OCRs and other technologies, process scanning, attended format, unstructured data, structured data, all of that put together. The size of it doesn't matter how big or small, but it may be a end-to-end process, whatever process you choose, from process discovery to insights as an analysis. And there is a big trend on the citizen developer. You would see this buzzword of citizen developer coming in, which essentially means that democratization of RPA, giving power to make more and more bots and automate things in the hands of developers, not just an organized enterprise. Anyone can be a citizen developer. Then there will be a whole ecosystem around it, as in how do you manage unconnected citizen developers who are putting things on a common platform. But that citizen developer as a project would be very important, hopefully a trend moving forward. And I also see this whole economy of automation, including training centers, including partners, specialization of skills, certifications, all of this coming through
Yeah.
in a big industry.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ashutosh, for really sharing your vision of the future. Thank you very much for all the insights that you have provided. It's been very informative, extremely helpful.
My pleasure.
Wishing you all the best of luck, for the future, and really hoping for some great things to happen with this acquisition, and really making India the automation capital of the world. So on that note,
so nice talking to you, Uday. Thank you, and stay safe. I must congratulate you on this initiative, and look forward to having our next chat very soon.
thank you, Ashutosh. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.